What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Fantasy Puck video. I'm your host Mike, and today I'm going to bring you the final trade targets video for this season. Now for my league, my trade deadline's fast approaching March 9th, and I think between now and then there's not really going to be any major changes that will affect some of these trade targets. So this is going to be the final trade video. But guys, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. I am pumped for this video, so without further ado, let's jump into the top trade targets video. The first trade target for this video is Teuvo Teravainen of the Carolina Hurricanes. Teravainen has been really solid this season, 13 goals, 40 points in just 45 games, including 20 power play points. I love the line that he's currently on with Aho and Svechnikov. The trio has been one of the top lines all season, sporting a solid 3.57 expected goals for per 60. But not only does Teravainen add solid goals and assist upside, he actually added another dynamic to his game, shooting the puck. Teravainen's at a career high 9.4 shots per 60, well above league average and nearly 15% above his previous career high. You sometimes see a jump in a per 60 stat when a player sees less ice time, but that isn't the case with Teravainen. His minutes have actually jumped over 1 minute and 30 seconds this season to 18 minutes per night, including a healthy amount of time on the team's top power play. His goals per 60, assists per 60, and points per 60 all match or are within a decimal of his previous career highs. This has truly been a really good first half for Teravainen. Now, Teravainen is extremely good for points leagues and a bit less valuable for leagues that include shots, blocks, and hits. Nevertheless, whether you're trading for him to try and squeak in the playoffs or if you're trading to prepare for playoffs, Teravainen seems to be a great option for both ways. Assuming playoffs is week 23 to 25, Carolina is one of 7 teams with 11 or more games in those 3 weeks, including some great matchups such as Montreal, Buffalo twice, Anaheim, and Detroit. On the screen now are some potential players you could look at trading for Teravainen, or this may give you a better understanding of his current value. Remember, if you ever have a question, just drop a comment and I'll reply at my earliest convenience. Moving on, you're probably all sick of me recommending Shea Theodore, but I did recommend Fiala as a buy low twice this season and it seems to have paid off. Sooner or later, this Vegas team's going to get hot and Theodore is going to play a huge role in this. Not to mention that Vegas has arguably the best fantasy playoff schedule, facing Seattle twice, Vancouver twice, and Arizona. It doesn't really get any better than that. Nevertheless, Theodore has actually been solid this season, but what seems to be not up to everybody's standards. 34 points in 47 games as a defenseman, including 10 power play points, a nice 119 shots, and 50 blocks. His minutes are at a career high 23 minutes and 16 seconds per night, which is promising, and his individual advanced stats are also pointing to a strong second half offensive surge. Amongst defensemen with at least 200 minutes played, Theodore ranks 11th for individual expected goals for, 11th for individual Corsi for, and 4th for individual high danger chances for, meaning Theodore is one of the best defensemen this season for creating chances. It's a matter of time for this Vegas team to get hot. With their fantasy playoff schedule looking very favorable, Theodore could be one of the most valuable defensemen for fantasy playoffs. On screen now are some players I would value close to Theodore with a mix of some forwards and defensemen. I find fantasy managers typically prefer to trade the same position, but if you can move a forward to improve your decor, it's always worth it. Moving on, the next trade target, we have Michael Bunting of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Arguably one of the most improved or surprising players this season, Bunting has flourished on that Toronto top line where there really doesn't seem to be any competition for his spot. Bunting's $950K cap hit is paying off for the Leafs this season. He's put up 17 goals, 35 points in 50 games, including a plus 11 rating and 110 shots. His 15 minutes average time on ice doesn't really concern me either, given almost all of his minutes are playing 5-on-5 with 2 of the league's most dominant forwards in Matthews and Marner. With the return of Marner, Bunting's value has actually skyrocketed, and his second half upside is almost limitless. This is Bunting's first full season, so we can't really compare anything to his previous years, but his 1.3 goals per 60, 1.4 assists per 60, and 8.6 shots per 60 rank him amongst the top 50 for forwards. The Bunting Matthews Marner line sports a 3.52 expected goals for per 60, ranking them first amongst lines with at least 250 minutes played together. Finally, the Leafs have a great playoff schedule, 11 games including a matchup against Winnipeg, Philadelphia, Montreal, Buffalo, and Ottawa. On the screen now are some trade targets for Bunting, and honestly, in some leagues, Bunting may actually be available, So if you do have a few players you're considering to drop, just let me know in the comments below. The final trade target for this video is Viktor Arvidsson of the LA Kings. I'm still in disbelief with how much this guy is currently shooting, but his shot rate is what makes him the perfect trade target. Arvidsson has always been a high volume shooter, reaching over 10 shots per 60 in all but one season in his career, but this season he's taken it to another level. He ranks 4th in the league at 13 shots per 60, 7th for individual expected goals 4 per 60, 6th for individual Corsi 4 per 60, and 5th for individual scoring chances 4 per 60, meaning Arvidsson is creating chances at one of the highest rates in the entire league. Will now be moved to power play 1 and his line generating the 7th best expected goals for, Arvidsson has taken his game to another level in LA and is yet extremely undervalued. Arvidsson's 13 goals and 32 points in 43 games is solid, and adding 162 shots to that mix makes him an elite option. Out of the options I've mentioned previously, Arvidsson does have the most difficult playoff schedule, but I do think he's a very good trade option to help with their playoff push. Here are some players similar value to Arvidsson. As always, guys, if you need any assistance with trades, ads, drops, or whatever, just leave a comment and I'll reply at my earliest convenience. That'll do it for our top trade targets video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.